America's current foreign policy is a major issue in the presidential campaign. Now, a controversial new report from a Washington think tank may influence that debate. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
America's foreign policy of maintaining a global military presence and intervening even when vital U.S. interests are not at stake is expensive and dangerous, according to a new report from the Libertarian Cato Institute, a Washington think tank. Christopher Preble heads up defense and foreign policy studies for Cato and says these views may be unpopular in Washington.
Generally speaking, we think that U.S. foreign policy is defined by this elite consensus, which is called primacy, the idea that the United States military is responsible not merely for the defense of the United States, but for the entire world. We talk about whether or not that still makes sense in the 21st century and going forward. We think this is a report that is likely to be quite unpopular here in Washington, but popular outside of the Beltway.
The foreign policy scholar thinks it's time to rethink America's role in the world. In particular, he's critical of what he believes is an interventionist foreign policy advocated by Hillary Clinton.
I think it could be said of Hillary Clinton that she supported 9 or 10 of the last 6 wars that the U.S. has fought. In other words, she's advocated for a number of wars that we actually didn't fight. She, of course, wanted the United States to become much more deeply involved in the Syrian civil war. She wanted the United States to at least contemplate arming Ukrainian rebels against Russia.
And Preble says that Clinton's involvement in Libya may have led to the attack at Benghazi.
She supported the active use of U.S. military power in many places where there was no vital U.S. national interest at stake. The most recent cases, of course, include Libya. In 2011, she was a very strong supporter of that intervention, deeply unpopular in the United States at the time, and only grown more unpopular since then. For all the focus on the tragic events in Benghazi in 2012, I wish there were more focus on her push to intervene and overthrow the government of Muammar Gaddafi in March and April of 2011. That's when the problem really started.
Preble says that Clinton is someone who believes strongly in the use of U.S. military power, going back to her vote for the Iraq War in 2002. He says she has failed to learn the lesson of the last decade that the U.S. military is not omnipotent and must pick and choose its battles carefully. John Hines, One America News, Washington.